Hi guys, another quick Divinity 2 tutorial here, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create water in your level. So here we have the demo level 1 that I created in the last tutorial. Let's load that. It's a very basic level with a small terrain piece and pretty much nothing else. Here we are. So what I want to do is I want to create a layer of water underneath this terrain piece so that if we lower this terrain, the water will appear. The best way I found to do this is to use a scenery piece and set it underneath the terrain layer. So to do that, we need to go to the root template here, filter on the scenery, and then we're going to search for NAT underscore water, and I think I'm going to search for a particular one, which is I think underscore plane 10 by 10 meters A. The reason why I want to choose this particular one is because it has clear dimensions indicated in the name and it's much easier to scale it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in the terrain. Here for example. And then we're going to edit its properties. So to do that we're going to select it. We will use the sidebar here to set its position to the same position as that of the terrain that we have here. So if we click on the terrain, for example, we see that it's position 0, 0, 0. So let's set the position of our scenery piece to 0, 0, 0. And there we have it. They're misaligned, but that is normal because the terrain position is indicated by its corner, and for the scenery position is indicated by the center. So we're gonna have to offset it in order to center it correctly, but we also want to scale it because right now it's too small to cover the whole terrain. So it's 10 by 10 meters and our terrain is 128 by 128. So what we need to do is we need to scale it by 12.8, and that should give us the piece of 128 by 128 meters of water. Now what we're going to do is we want to move it 64 meters to the right, minus 2 meters in height, and another 64 meters down. So that's what I'm going to enter in the position field, 64 minus 264. And if I click elsewhere, we see now that the water layer and the ground layer are aligned, but the water layer is 2 meters below the ground. So what we're going to do now is we can use the terrain tool. I have the terrain tab open here, and I'm going to use the raise terrain tool. Change its size a little bit, and I'm going to use the right click to lower the terrain, and we see that the water starts appearing. So I'm going to create a pond here, and then I'm going to reduce the size and create another pond here. Okay, so we're almost done. We have our water. Now we need to indicate to the game AI that these surfaces are actually water. To do that, we're going to go to the AI plane, and then we're going to select the Paint Surfaces tab. Now we see the default material is water. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the round brush here. Before we do that, we need to fully generate the terrain to make the water show. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the Generate tab, and we're going to click Full Generate. So now we see that the water is showing through the terrain. And we can go back to painting surfaces, click on water, click on round brush, and we can start painting our little pond. And then I'll need a smaller brush for this one, so I'll reduce it. To reduce the size of the brush, you use the square brackets on your keyboard. They're just underneath the minus and equal signs on your keyboard. So there we are. I'm not sure why this one did not get painted. If you use the right click on the paint surfaces, it's gonna erase the surface. So for example, if you go overboard here, like I did, you can trim it a little bit and make it fit the shape of your water surface. There we go. So now I will go and hit full generate again. What this will do is this will indicate the AI, all the water surfaces, and then I'm gonna remove all the filters, and I think we can test our water. I'm gonna save the level. We have the red prints here running around, and if we enter the water, we see that red prints is in the water now. The water surface is above him, and also if we point at the water, we see that the game treats it as a water element that can be electrified or frozen. And when he walks, you can hear the wet steps as opposed to when he walks on the ground. So there you go. There's a quick and easy way to create water in your level.